Hi! We're back after a couple months because they didn't really show anything last month that either of us really wanted to go see. Actually, this month they showed a lot.
We missed Back to the Future.
We missed Back to the Future, and we missed Raiders of the Lost Ark. I was in Chicago when they re-released those, but I've seen both of those in the theater before. So I was less upset about it, as great as that would have been, as awesome as that would have been. But with Saturday Night Fever, I'm like, I don't care if I'm staying in Springfield for Saturday Night Fever. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going out of town. I'm not doing jack. If I'm working on something, whatever, I will fucking put it on hold. I am not missing Saturday Night Fever in the theater.
Yeah, it's something you'd reschedule a wedding around. Anything. You wouldn't want to miss it. I missed, a few years ago in California, they re-released Back to the Future for like 3 or 4 days. And there was like, because it was like the 25th anniversary? I guess
85.
It would have been because it was 2010.
They re-released it here too.
They did?
Yeah, because I first saw Back to the Future when it first hit video. But so they re-released Back to the Future here, and a bunch of us went to go see it. Raiders, you and I saw Raiders.
Yeah, we saw Raiders.
Some years back when they re-released that in theaters.
Because how old were you when it was made?
Raiders?
84? It was 1984 when it was?
Well, Raiders was 81. Raiders was out in theaters when I was born.
Wow.
Temple of Doom was actually the first Indiana Jones I saw in the theater wasn't Temple of Doom. It was, because again, that was one that my dad rented for me again when it first hit video. So the first one of those I saw in the theater was Last Crusade.
I had no idea that was that long ago. 81.
Yeah.
Flies.
Saturday Night Fever, I was -4, so
and I went to it at the theater. Saw it more than once.
How many times did you go see it?
Several, because that's back in the day when we would go several times to see a movie. I think I told you when we did this once before, we saw Smokey and the Bandit 13 times at the theater.
You still have it memorized?
Most of it, I'll bet I do. It'd be fun to try. And Animal House we saw 6 times.
Yeah.
So I'd say 3 that I can probably remember.
I wish there were more movies I could go see more than once, since I'm at the minimum 1 movie a week, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. I don't get a chance to go see a lot of things again. Saturday Night Fever. This movie, Saturday Night Fever, showed 3 times here. So, well, the AMC Classic series, it showed twice today. It showed once on Sunday. I easily could have gone and seen all 3 showings of that. I really could. Sitting there watching that tonight, I'm like, I should have put off work for 2 other times too to go see this. See this all 3. Saturday Night Fever is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 5.
And it's one of the best movies of all time. I mean, it's dated, of course, looking at those outfits and even some of the kind of the behind the scenes stuff. Like I saw a bell from, like, not Illinois Bell, but you remember the Illinois Bell?
Yeah.
Okay. It must have been, since that was in New York, whatever phone company they had, but it was the Bell. You know, and you just don't even see that anymore.
And dated doesn't mean bad.
Not at all.
Not at all. It's dated in the sense like, okay, I can tell when this movie was made.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like, it's like Miami Vice. Like, okay, I can tell of course I can tell when Miami Vice was made, but Miami Vice still, you know, like, dated is fine, you know, as long as it still works at its intended purpose and doesn't turn into camp. Miami Vice is still gritty. Miami Vice is still, pretty rough, is still got some pretty tense stuff in it, despite the fact that, yeah, you can tell when it was made, but...
Sure. But it's still relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, Saturday Night Fever is so relevant. I mean, you know, obviously the styles and all those kinds of things have changed, but the issues haven't. You know, there was a scene there where, you know, the 2 gay guys got kind of harassed or hassled a little bit, you know, which that still happens today. Lots of different kinds of harassment. That's, you know, throughout the course of time. The religious issues with the poor kid.
Catholic guilt.
The whole Catholic guilt, you know, with the poor kid wanting a dispensation from the Pope.
Yeah.
You know, so that
he's
his
got
girlfriend
a girl pregnant. He doesn't know if he should marry her or, you know, if she's going to have an abortion and everything.
And then how, when the girl, you know, the Donna Pesco,
Annette,
how she's viewed, you know, because she wants to have sex with these guys, and then
Yeah.
she eventually does, and
And it's horrible.
but it's the image that and the labeling that she gets, but the guys don't.
Yeah.
Those issues are all still very relevant today.
Oh, Lord, yes. And even Saturday Night Fever it's not. There are people who have this view of Saturday Night Fever that it's somehow, and it's largely people who haven't seen it, that it's somehow this happy musical in the same vein as like Grease. It's not. Like, yeah,
Not at
you
all.
see all these images of Saturday Night Fever of John Travolta, on the dance floor doing his thing. There's real hidden depth to that. That's followed by some pretty rough shit. This movie is this guy, Tony Manero, who he's right on that cusp of life about to hit him in the ass. It hasn't yet, but it's about to, and he kind of realizes it as this movie is going on. Yeah, he's got his job, yeah, he's got his friends, but it's right on the edge of this is all going to come crashing down on this guy, and the real world is just going to spit him out and chew him up, and he kind of knows it, but at the same time is grasping onto this one thing that he's good at, and where people literally treat him like a god. The Odyssey in this movie is just, it's that. It looks like a fantasy land. It's portrayed as like this almost like Greek mythological heaven, this area that like when he's there, they treat him like he's a Greek god. When he's looking at himself in the mirror, he's looking at himself as like he's like a marble statue. And the way everyone treats him, the way everyone looks at him, even the fog, even the angles that they use in this club, there are people who are going up to him and they're wiping the sweat off of his head. There are people that treat him like as if he's just that he is God, that he is Zeus.
Even his buddies kind of do when they just stand there and watch him dance.
Yeah.
The little gal that came up and...
Oh, Denny Dillon?
Yeah, wiped the sweat off of his face, and then when he took her out to dance, all she could do was just grab him and hug him because she was just so taken by this guy. And he's gorgeous. And he does have a presence. He's got a very commanding presence. When he's on that screen, there's nowhere else you want to look.
No,
except
not at all.
at him. He's physically, he's in great shape, probably some of the best shape of his life.
Charismatic.
Fabulous dancer.
Yeah.
But when he's in that 2001 club, the rest of his life is just for that moment not there.
Is gone. Like all the bullshit's gone. Everything that he's worried about, his future, his education, everything is just, he doesn't have to worry about that in that. And no one else is judging him for all of this stuff on the outside world. And John Travolta plays this part so well, because if the part of Tony Manero was played wrong, it'd be a hard movie to watch, because Tony Manero is not a good guy. Like, I mean, he's a bastard. Like, he is a bastard. There are moments in this movie where he's a straight up fucker. But he is largely he's largely aware of his own faults because of his own surroundings, of his friends, trying to keep this image that he has of his friends, and because of how everyone treats him. Yeah, he is he's very misogynistic throughout the whole movie. Which is an arc in the movie, especially at the end when the whole you think we can be friends? And he's like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Try.
But but he also plays it charming. You know what I mean? He's not. If this role was to be played so wrong, it could come across looking almost like Andrew Dice Clay or something. It's not. You buy why these people, even in the outside world, would kind of hang around and would kind of find him charming, would want his approval, and Donna Pascal, Annette in the movie, who every time I've seen this movie 100 times, and every time I'm like, I really just want these two to end up together, kinda.
She liked him.
She's
so much.
adorable. She's adorable, and she is more likable than Karen Gorney than Stephanie.
Yeah, for the most part. For the most part.
But also, I get in terms of I'm saying that as an audience member, but in the movie, I get his infatuation with Stephanie. Here's a person that, like, he kind of sees that maybe that she's smarter than him, or she pretends to be smarter than him.
She's not from his circle.
Yeah, she's not from his circle. She seems to be smarter than him. She does have somewhat of an education. She has a job. She's at least for that time being, she's well put together and everything. She has a nice place, and she has these things that Travolta certainly wants or feels that he needs, you know, in order to kind of survive to where he's not going to get his ass kicked. Just okay, for instance, when he gets his job back, at the paint club. And yeah, in that moment, that's kind of cool for him, you know, like, oh, great, I got my job back. And then he's looking at these other two guys in there who have been working there for 18 years, and he's like, fuck, is this what my life's going to freaking become?
And thinking that little wage that he has, is it going to make a house payment or rent? Is it going to get him a car? Is it going to pay for all the things he's going to need? Knowing that his real talent is his ability to dance. When you were talking about him being, you know, kind of not a good guy, in situations most definitely with Annette, he's really shitty to her, but...
I don't mean that generally speaking.
Sure, you're right.
I don't mean that generally speaking.
Yeah, he has those moments. But in certain situations, he always does the right thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like helping his buddy on the bridge, you know, comforting Annette after she was, you know... had sex with those guys in the back seat of the car, and
shit's rough.
Yeah,
fuck.
I mean, and it is rough. It's very rough. And then, you know, kind of coming to the defense of his brother, who had decided he didn't want to be a priest anymore. And the biggest one to me was when they gave their first prize from the dance to who he really thought was a better, you know, dance team.
Yeah, he does do that, but he still has that part of him that is still kind of a dick about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but he has moments where you see a slight bit of goodness in him if he's just can be humbled in some way, shape, or form, because you know, when he's arguing with his mom and then she starts crying and he gets up to kind of comfort her, you know, he seems like he's a good brother to his older sister, and he does look up to his brother. He sees kind of a goodness in his brother that he doesn't see in himself. And then when his brother, with the whole Catholic guilt thing, when his brother leaves the priesthood, and so he's kind of like, if you're not so good, maybe I'm not such a shit, you know, because he does seem aware of the fact that, you know, that he can be a fucker. But at the same time, it's that he can do something horrible, but then he's like, oh, you know, I'm really sorry. You know, he'll just be like, just let me in. I'm here to apologize. Okay.
That was hilarious. She didn't even open the door. They just started yelling through the door. Talking about
he can. He can say just some of the worst things, but it'll still be kind of charming to where you're sort of like, okay, when he's talking to Fran Drescher and he says, what does he say? This movie's full of fantastic fucking lines that take a really good actor to pull off while making the character still likable. I don't mean take a good actor to pull off and the line's bad. I'm not saying that. That's the opposite of what I'm saying, in that you need a very charismatic, actor to say a lot of the things he's saying. Like when he says to Fran Drescher,
go ahead.
If you're as good on the dance floor as you are in bed, then you're a lousy fuck.
Exactly. If you're as good in bed as you are on the dance floor, then you're a lousy fuck. Oh my gosh. And seeing Fran Drescher, that was awesome. I mean, looking back and seeing these so many familiar faces, I'm going to have to go up and look. I'm going to have to IMDb these people, and because almost every single one of them in there looked familiar. Was there anything in the movie, watching it on the big screen, that you missed watching it?
When you see a movie like this re-released on the big screen, you tend to pick up a lot on where some stuff was ADR'd and where some, meaning like voiceover and stuff like that. You tend to pick that up more on the big screen than you do sitting there watching at home. But that's I don't have any problem. I get that. I don't have any problem with that. But little things here. I've seen this movie a lot. I watch Saturday Night Fever like at least a few times a year. I never watch it on television. I don't, because this is just a movie where, okay, back when it was first released, they re-released it in a PG version so more people could go see it. They advertised, like, now more people can see John Travolta's groundbreaking performance and stuff like that, and Saturday Night Fever edited down is just, you would lose you would lose the power of it, the rawness of it. This is a movie that, and I'm not even talking about, I'm not talking about the how they're dressed, disco and everything like that, just how real this movie is. There's just not much like this made anymore, where these guys are chain smoking, they're just horrible to each other. They're screaming like, hey, what can I say, the Spicks should have won, you know, things like that. Like,
and he doesn't get that what he's saying is so awful.
You know, like, yeah, that kind of movie, just how these guys are with each other, how these guys talk to each other, just the level of vulgarities they hurl at each other is still real to this day. You just don't see it portrayed as much in movies anymore now.
And that's, I think, with them largely, I would say, cultural.
Oh well, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you know, for sure. But you don't see movies made like this anymore. I mean, it's dark. It does have its funny moments. It's got some hilarious lines for sure, but it's very dark. It's very dark.
It's very rough. I mean, it really is. Like in the last 15 minutes where these people's worlds are just crumbling down over them, and they are not taking it well. Like they are so not taking it well. People, there are just people who don't realize that about this movie, and I that's every time I say that to somebody who should watch this movie, too many people who haven't seen it write it off as if it's like some piece of like camp or product of its time or something like that, and it's just so not. This is, I tell that anytime I tell somebody to watch this, I say this is a dark movie. This is a rough sit in all the good ways possible. You're gonna find something in this. You know, everybody, you know, has that point in their life when they're unfortunately they're looking into the future. They don't really want to because they don't really like what maybe they might see, but you kind of have to at a certain age, and that's, you will find something in this movie that you will relate to. Maybe not someone's personality, like maybe you don't relate to Tony Manero like as a person or his personality, how he treats certain people, but the issues that he goes through, anybody can relate to that. Anybody can relate to, like, I'm working a freaking dead-end job. Yeah, I'm like popular now because I'm freaking 19 years old, but you know, that might freaking end soon. And there are just such real human moments in this film that show that he's not just a caricature of this disco god. Like, he has real moments in it where you know that if he had some more years on him, that he could really break through that and really kind of be this decent enough guy. Like, okay, when he and Karen Gorney are talking about the bridge, it's some of the best acting that Travolta's ever done. It really is. When you watch this movie, you really see like this guy becoming a movie star. It's the movie that made him a movie star. And you can see it. You absolutely can on screen. How he's filmed, how he's acted, his eyes, his delivery. Just little things that he says, the little Italian slang words that he says, and really subtle things about his performance. Like when he and Karen Gorney are having coffee together, and he's almost having like an inner panic attack because he doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, but he's still trying to be kind of cool. Like, oh yeah, well, it's Olivia. Yeah, I know who that is.
Because you think he just got tired of her asking him questions and him having no idea about what she was talking about, you know, and so he's like, oh yeah, I know who that guy is. The bridge scene, I think I have this right, when they were sitting next to the little park by the Golden Gate Bridge, correct? Not Golden Gate. In
Brooklyn Bridge?
Brooklyn Bridge, I'm sorry, wrong coast. He was teared up, and I had read that he drew off the emotions because he had just lost or he was about to lose his girlfriend at the time in real life, Diana Hyland. Yeah, who was dying of cancer. She was quite a bit older than him, but you reminded me that she played his mom in
Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Boy in the Plastic Bubble. But she was a very, very attractive lady.
Oh, yeah.
And she died right about that time right around the time of Saturday Night Fever. Then he took right off to go film Grease. Yeah, so it was those. He was real. Those emotions that he was drawing, that was real.
Yeah. Like it's one of the more powerful moments in the movie between that and the ending, and the ending between him and her, where they're talking about, like, you know, we can be, you know, becoming friends. Like, that's kind of the relationship arc in the movie, is by the end he actually learns how to be friends with a woman.
But do you think that's actually, it's kind of like the end of Gone with the Wind, after he said, you know, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. You wonder if, well, maybe a little bit later he did give a damn. Do you ever wonder in movies if it went just a little further, do you think they would have been more than just friends? Do you think it was just going to be friends, or that was just...
Well, she's not in Staying Alive.
She's not, so, yeah, okay.
Staying Alive, that...
He was in great shape.
Staying Alive is...
Wow.
I'm not a huge... Seeing how this is one of my favorite movies of all time, I'm not a huge fan of Staying Alive. Saturday Night Fever did not need a sequel. Or at least, well, okay, at least a sequel like Staying Alive. I kind of get... When I was younger, I really didn't. I was just like, wow, you took everything that was really raw about that movie and just kind of turned it into camp. But... I kind of get it now in a little bit, Staying Alive, in that... I saw an interview not long ago, an older interview. It was when they were promoting Staying Alive, and it was Stallone and Travolta. They were talking about Travolta getting in shape, and that Stallone was getting him back in shape because he got a little bit out of shape at the time. Travolta did, and honestly, really, he was in about the best shape of his life in Staying Alive.
Travolta?
Yeah.
Oh my God! He probably had a 1% body fat. I mean,
yeah. So, Stallone was talking, and he just simply said, like, yeah, John and I, we got together, and we became really good friends. I got him back into shape, and, you know, we just decided to do this, you know, really kind of dumb movie together. And so I'm like, okay, I kind of get this movie now. They're just kind of doing something silly. I don't know if they had to pull Tony Manero and stuff into it and kind of
maybe
desensitize them. Yeah, and kind of desensitize the character a bit. But there are moments of Staying Alive that are fine. There are moments in it that work. When he's working as like a... I have not seen Staying Alive like
that. We should watch it.
Staying Alive. I'm gonna do it as a snob episode at some point, but I've seen Staying Alive a small fraction of the times I've seen Saturday Night Fever, but there are a couple. I'm so going by memory. It has been years and years and years since I've watched Staying Alive. Who knows? It might age fine for me now. I might watch it again and be like, yeah, this is kind of okay.
Not too bad.
But I remember that fucking play he's doing at the end was batshit. But at the beginning of it, there's a part at the beginning of Staying Alive where he's working as a waiter in like this club, and he's looking at all the dancers, and he's kind of remembering how big he was in the dance scene, and that was kind of a good one. There's a part, his mom comes back into it in a scene in the second one, and I remember that scene being kind of good because it was more Saturday Night Fever-esque in that scene than it was. Staying Alive is I don't know, like remembering it is just like, this seems like it should be more of an episode of the TV show Fame than
a movie,
or like this seems like it is more along the lines of Making It than it is Saturday Night Fever. But did you see Staying Alive in the theater?
I don't remember if I saw it. I kind of think I probably would have, because I'm such a huge Stallone fan. I mean, especially back then. And I remember seeing Stallone surprise John when he was on Johnny Carson. Do you remember that?
I saw that. Yeah, I remember seeing that clip.
That was cool when he was out promoting the movie. So I suspect I probably did. I'm pretty good at remembering what I've seen and when and where, but...
There's one thing I do think of, because in Saturday Night Fever, he's got that Rocky poster on his wall, and then in Staying Alive, there's that cameo where Stallone and Travolta bump each other and they kind of look at each other. since Saturday Night Fever establishes the fact that in this universe the movie Rocky exists, and so Sylvester Stallone exists. Was he playing himself in Staying Alive? And that's why Travolta looked, oh my God, I just ran into Sylvester Stallone on the street.
That'd be a fun interview question for Stallone.
But I always talk to you about the soundtrack.
Oh my God. I want to go home and listen to it right now. I want to download it onto iTunes and listen to the whole soundtrack.
It's my favorite soundtrack of all time. I've got this on vinyl, I've got it on 8-track, I've got it on cassette, I've got it on CD, I've got it on the computer. I have the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever everywhere. Throughout this whole movie, I'm sitting there singing. I think you were doing it too.
Oh, yeah.
Tapping my leg and singing the songs to myself as I'm watching this movie. It really is my favorite soundtrack of all time.
You can't help it.
I put it on a lot, and I listen to the whole thing. And yeah, I am a huge well, you know this, but like I don't even need to tell the people out there this. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm a pretty unapologetically huge disco music fan. I love disco
Likewise.
music. Disco music is
music's
happy.
awesome.
It's catchy.
It's
fun.
It's a blast.
Yeah, I love disco music to death.
Can bring you out of the worst mood.
Lord, this movie did. Like, I've had a very busy week, and I'm generally pretty sleepy in the summer. Summer does that to me. The humidity just makes me so drowsy. It does. Like, I get so sleepy-eyed. Well, you saw that when I came to get you earlier for the movie. I'm just so sleepy-eyed. And also, the past couple of days, I've been working on the 3D episode that I did, and the reviewers last weekend. I've been working on a lot of stuff, and summer, because I get so sleepy in the summer, because the weather just does that to me. I don't know if anyone else out there is like that, but warm weather and humid weather it makes me very tired. It does. And not all the time in the summer, but sometimes it's like the only time of year where my work actually does feel like work. Not always, but sometimes, depending on what it is I'm doing. But being very tired the past few days, past week really, and working all yesterday, working all today, and then going to this movie. As soon as the Paramount logo came up, as soon as, it's the shot across the bridge, it's the shot across New York, as soon as the music kicks in and everything, suddenly, like, I'm alert. Suddenly I'm happy. And this is a movie I've seen 100 times. I could watch Saturday Night Fever, like, I could watch it every month. I could watch it more than that. I could just put this movie on, just on complete, just repeat. I totally get it. And just sitting there watching this movie with the soundtrack, with the characters, everything I know about this movie, everything I love about this movie, just suddenly, like, I'm attentive, I'm at attention, I'm happy. I mean,
it is one of the best soundtracks ever. I'd be hard pressed to think of one that I would like better. What the weather does to me, and I get what you're saying, that it just wakes you up and makes you happy, is we've had like 7 straight days of rain. It has not stopped. No sun, no big fireball in the sky. God.
Rain does that to you?
Oh my God, yes.
Rain doesn't do that to me.
And so, like, you're exhausted from work and the humidity and everything, and when we got to the theater, it does. You just...
Yeah.
There he is with that walk and those shoes, carrying that can of paint and looking at a girl and starting to turn around and go after her. And then...
I love that part so much, because when it switches over to the point of view shot of him where he just walks in front of that girl and kind of doesn't let her pass until she does, like, how did he think that would work? Because he doesn't say anything.
No, he just goes over and stands in front of a girl.
And yeah, Travolta can pull that off in a movie. He totally can. I was telling you this earlier that Sarah's never seen the movie before, and when Risky Business came out, I was like, oh, Sarah will love Risky Business. I got to take her to go see Risky Business. I was this close to. This is going to make me sound like an ass. I was this close to asking Sarah if she wanted to come see Saturday Night Fever with us. I didn't, because I'm only about 48-50% sure she
would have liked it. Yeah. And you knew I would.
Well, yeah. And this, I'm so sorry if this comes across as selfish, but I was like, I don't want my buzz to be harsh.
Exactly.
So if you're watching this, I doubt she is, but I'll loan you Saturday Night Fever. You watch it, you like it, you can punch me in the face. I don't know how much she would really... I don't know how much she would really like Tony is the thing in this. I could so be wrong. If I am, I 1,000% apologize. But I was like, if I loan this to Sarah, she really, really likes it, I will drive her somewhere where Saturday Night Fever is playing in a theater.
Watch it. That'd be fun. She may, I mean, I can't imagine her just disliking the entire movie. You know, she may not like Tony, she may not like some things about him or this or that, but I can't imagine her just not liking it.
I don't know. I don't know, but it was just one of those things where I was like, I don't want, I need this so bad. I need to go see one of my favorite movies of all time in the theater, and I just want to be, and I don't. I don't want my buzz to be like, I didn't ask Dave because I don't think Dave likes it.
Right.
Well, wait, I think Dave might. I don't know why Dave would. I mean, Dave's not a disco guy, but he.
Bring your Uncle Dave.
My Uncle Dave does not like this movie.
Hates it.
It's like his least favorite movie of all time, just because it's got disco. It is just because it's got disco music in it. It's the only freaking reason why, because it's got disco on the soundtrack. Whatever.
He's missing out.
Yeah, right? Did he go see it in the theater with you?
I can't remember. Once again, it would have been...
With you, my dad, and Bobby.
And Bobby. I don't know. I don't. I remember he went to see Grease with us, and that wasn't so pleasant. You know, because you just tell throughout the entire movie that he didn't like it. But...
I thought I remembered you telling me that story when I was a kid was that it seemed like he was liking it, but the fact that he didn't like John Travolta kept him from saying that he liked it.
I thought that was Grease.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about Grease. You were still talking about Saturday Night Fever?
No, I was talking about Grease, honey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he did. You could see he would crack up at some parts. You could just catch him laughing, you know, especially parts with Kaneki, because he really liked Kaneki. And he made it very clear at the end of the movie he liked Kaneki, but he didn't like, you know, Travolta. And I'm like, okay.
Whatever.
I know.
I love Grease.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Grease
more of a Saturday...
one.
Yeah. Oh, I love Grease. We've seen Grease together in the theater, too.
Yeah, we did in...
They re-released
98.
it in 98 for the
98.
20th anniversary.
That was fun.
Yeah. I love Grease. This is my favorite Travolta. I mean, this is in my, again, not to repeat myself, it's by far in my top 5 favorite movies. So this would be my favorite John Travolta movie. Did you go see Moment by Moment in the theater? That was 78.
No, I don't remember seeing that.
He got unfairly trashed for that. I mean, like, because Moment by Moment was, let's see, Grease was summer of 78, Moment by Moment was December of 78. And then he didn't do another movie until Urban Cowboy, because he got beat up bad for Moment by Moment, which Moment by Moment is not good at all, but it was...
It's not that bad.
No, it is. It is, but it's really bad. But it's unfair that he got all the blame for it, because he really did. Because no one else really did. Because everyone else who was a part of that movie was already pretty well established.
Lily Tomlin, is that right?
Yeah, were pretty well established in their movie career. Whether it's Lily Tomlin, whether it was Stigwood who produced it, or Jane Wagner. Jane Wagner didn't do another movie after that, but she's Lily Tomlin's partner in real life, and she still directed some stand-ups or some specials that Lily Tomlin did. But I think that was the only movie she did. But Travolta, since he was, you know, he got Saturday Night Fever, did Grease, both very successful, and then this wasn't, and like really kind of all the blame for that was put on John Travolta, which was really unfair, because no one, having seen Moment by Moment, no one could, that is not John Travolta's fault. No one could have made that, no one could have made that movie any good.
Did you like Urban Cowboy?
Yeah. Blowout's one of my favorite Travolta movies. I love Blowout. That's
stressful.
Yeah. Wow. One of the Blowout has the best bad ending of all time. Like, it really does.
Yeah,
like
you remember it forever.
Yeah. And maybe bad's a stretch. It's got like the best downer ending. Like, it's such a morbid fucking ending, but it works. I cannot picture that movie without it. Like, that was really ballsy of them to do that ending. You could not get away with an ending like that now. In a mainstream movie, no fucking way could you get away with an ending like that nowadays. Blowout is, if you haven't seen Blowout, the best Travolta movies, Saturday Night Fever, Blowout, I'm putting Grease on there, Pulp Fiction.
Is this in order?
I'm kind of just thinking off the top of my head. I love John Travolta. I grew up on John Travolta movies, even the bad ones.
Look Who's Talking.
I love Look Who's Talking.
Look Who's Talking was awesome.
He's great in Look Who's Talking.
He
You got your finger back.
Even Look Who's Talking too.
That movie sucks.
I know. I love John.
It's better than Look Who's Talking Now, where the dogs talked.
Oh, God.
What the fuck?
They really should have stopped at one, of course. But it's John, and he's just.
I can
wonderful.
watch him in anything. Like, he's just one of those actors where I've seen all of John. I've seen his entire filmography, even all the bad ones. I have, because I just love Travolta.
Yeah.
Like, I will sit down and watch something like Perfect, like Two of a Kind. What? Oh no. Like Perfect, like Two of a Kind, like what was that one gang movie? Like Chains of Gold or?
Oh my!
Remember that
God.
movie?
That with Joey Lawrence, when Joey Lawrence was just a kid.
Yeah, Joey Lawrence.
It was about. Okay, there we go. It was about folks cooking up crack.
Yeah.
And he was like a police officer. He was something in this and the Joey Lawrence character was kidnapped and put in a cage, and it was a big giant building where children were made to cook crack.
Yeah.
And it was horrible.
Yeah, it was
So stressful.
That one's it's one of his lesser movies. It was made before his comeback. It's pretty it was kind of in the era where he was just kind of doing like stuff like The Experts and just a lot of stuff that was just kind of thrown at him, and it's not great, but it's again, like, I can easily sit there and watch it because Travolta's really fucking good in it.
Benjamin Bratt's in it.
Travolta he has a power to make even like I've seen Battlefield Earth more than once. I've seen it more than once because Travolta's performance in that movie makes it
Seeing?
Yeah, but it's not. But for all, I hate saying that. I mean, I say because I do love the guy. I'm a huge fan of his work, but it's watchable for all the wrong reasons. His performance in the movie is watchable for a lot of the wrong reasons. But I will say this about him in Battlefield Earth. While the reaction that he got for that movie, have you seen Battlefield Earth? Okay. While the reaction that he got for that movie from his performance and for how the movie's shot, produced, how it looks, everything about that movie, got the complete opposite reaction than anyone intended for it to get. He is clearly having the time of his fucking life in that movie.
Making the movie?
Yeah, he is clearly having a blast in that film. No, it's not good at all. And the choices that and it isn't just him, it's everyone in that movie that they make in terms of performance and everything like that are just so misguided. But there is something that's to be said about a bad movie that is filled with some people who are at least having having a lot of fun. And that movie, and I can watch a bad movie like that. I can watch something like The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage, because it's obvious that he's on pure not give a fuck mode and is just having a fun time in this movie where he's dressed in a bear suit and karate chops someone.
Well, wasn't Battlefield Earth, that was a project that Travolta wanted to do for like a long time,
He wanted to do that since the early 80s. And, I mean, who knows how it would have worked then. I don't know. He wanted to get that off the ground in the early 80s, and it was going to be him in the lead role as the hero of the movie, because he was age appropriate at the time. And then when the movie finally was made, he was too old for the hero guy, so he opted to play the villain instead. And Travolta can play a good bad guy.
Broken Arrow.
Yeah, Face Off, plenty of stuff. Travolta can play a really good bad guy.
And I don't like seeing him as a bad guy.
I do. I like seeing him.
He's good, but he's...
I like seeing people play against type, and Travolta always just comes across like he's just a genuinely good guy. Like, at least that when you see him in interviews, when you see him out and about, he just seems like he's a nice guy. He really does. And I know that's coming from somebody who grew up with his movies and who's a huge fan of his work. But I like seeing people play against type like that. I like seeing him play a bad guy.
He's good.
He can play a good bad guy. He can play a good romantic lead. He can play a good bastard. You know. In Battlefield Earth, he is playing a villain in that, but he's playing it like almost Shakespearean in a way, sort of, like in a role that so doesn't call for it. I graduated at the top of my class. Like, fuck is going on here? But I have a real soft spot in my heart for very entertainingly bad movies.
Yeah, even when John is playing like a bad guy, he can still get that sparkle in those blue eyes.
Oh yeah, like in Broken Arrow.
Oh yeah.
In Broken Arrow, when he kills Bob Gunton and he goes, I just realized I never killed anyone before. I don't see what the big deal is. I really don't. Like he told you, stop shooting at the thermonuclear weapons.
I know.
And in Face Off, when he becomes Castor Troy, when he becomes the Nick Cage character, and we are watching this movie, and when Travolta, the bad Travolta, is now with Sean Archer. Have you seen Face Off?
Yeah.
Good, because it's so hard to explain to people who haven't seen it, because you sit like the good Travolta, the bad Travolta, Sean Archer, Castor Troy. But anyway, like, so when evil Travolta is with good Travolta's family, like Joan Allen and the daughter and everything, you're watching it and you're like, if he would just stop being a terrorist, he's not a bad husband, and like, he's an okay dad when he's not lusting after her. That was a weird sentence. Well, she's not really his daughter, but
oh my God! For folks that haven't seen it, you have to see it.
Well, Face Off?
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, Face Off is great. Those two guys are having a blast. But yeah, like you're watching, like, okay, like he teaches the daughter how to, like, he gives her good advice, like he gives her a knife and like he's like, you could stick it in, twist it, stuff like that. He's like teaching her how to defend herself, and he's actually like being very attentive to Joan Allen, and is like, you watch this, wow, he's actually a better husband than the other one. If he just stopped blowing shit up and killing people, he'd be fine.
Other than that, he's a good guy.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Other than the terrorist thing.
I need to get a list of all Travolta's movies and check off which ones I've seen, because I bet you I've seen most of them.
I said earlier that I've seen all of them, and I'm taking that back, because there's stuff he's done within the past like 5, however many years. There's some stuff I haven't seen. But the bulk of his career, largely, I've seen, like, I don't think there's anything he did in the 80s that I haven't seen. Maybe a couple things in the 90s, I don't know, but...
There's even been Welcome Back, Kotter reruns on lately.
Sweet!
Yeah.
He was still on Kotter when he did Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. I guess it makes sense, because Saturday Night Fever came out in 1977, this year I graduated from high school. Kotter was on when I was in high school, so I guess it adds up.
I love Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, Mr. Kotter.
Barbarino.
God.
You and your sweat dog's gonna pay for this, Kotter.
I want to go home and download the whole soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever and put up a big mirror and just dance.
I'll loan you one of my many copies of it. One of my many copies of Saturday Night Fever.
Do you have like a special edition with like extra scenes or?
On the DVD?
DVD. I'm sorry. Like on the, like on a Blu-ray or.
I do have it on Blu-ray. It's kind of a bare bones edition. I've got it on VHS. I've got the DVD.
Got the DVD?
Yeah, and the DVD was pretty I have the Blu-ray that's really, really bare bones, and the DVD was kind of more the same. Like it was a really half-assed DVD. Like the cover of it was really good. The cover of it had good color to it. It was nice packaging. But you put it in and they just kind of slapped it together at the last minute. It was just like, I think really the only thing on it was just like a couple of the scenes that were used on a couple episodes of pop-up video or something like that. I mean, and that's fine, but it wasn't even like the whole episode. It was just a little bit of it.
I wonder if there's one that has like special features and.
The ones I have don't. I've been slacking on buying a lot of DVDs lately. I need to see if there's a better version of it out. If there is, I feel stupid that I don't have it. But the one that I have at home just has just a couple of stuff on it. It was a cheap Blu-ray. I think I got it for when I got it, I think I only got it for like $5 or something like that.
We should make a trip to Best Buy.
Yeah, so that's where I got. That's where I got the copy that I have now. How long has it been since you've seen it?
Oh boy. I think I saw it once when I was in California. But other than that, it's been a long time. But at the movie theater when it was out. This is the first time I've seen it at the movie theater. It was awesome, especially like all the other stuff that we've gotten to see together since I got to see it with you. The music is emotional. I mean, because I was 18 years old when the movie came out, and I'm obviously significantly older than that now. And it's also seeing the Bee Gees that like 3 of them are gone. That's, you look at their names, Robin, Maurice, and Barry up there on the screen, and you're just like, one of the best soundtracks ever. One
of my favorite bands. I'm a huge Bee Gees fan.
God.
Huge Bee Gees fan.
Yeah, I had a music box made for Becca with a Bee Gees song. When you open it, it's a Bee Gees song.
Yeah. When Robin passed away, I just put my album on, put Saturday Night Fever on.
They're just a phenomenal group. Just a phenomenal group, and the way that their music changed over the years, from the early stuff to the disco stuff, and then, stuff they did afterwards. And oh God, I miss them. I was hoping that I would get to see them just one more time, and then
I never saw them.
2 of them are gone. Yeah.
Did you ever see them?
Never.
Yeah. No, me neither. The last time I watched this was this year. Just one random time that I just put the DVD on, because I do that a lot. I do that a lot with this movie. Do you ever, when you watch a movie like this, because let's see, 37 years since Saturday Night Fever came out, when you watch a movie like this, do you wonder what the characters might be doing
today?
Yeah. Tony would be 50, 37 years ago, he's 19.
He'd be 55.
56. Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I can't. I mean, he either made it really good or he didn't. And he ended up like his father in some job that laid him off from time to time, or maybe he was still working in the paint shop, although there was Staying Alive, so...
Yeah, because, Staying Alive is canon. It is. It's an official sequel to the movie. It is canon, so if you look at Staying Alive... that has the upbeat ending that's cheese-tastic, where he says to the girl, there's only one thing I can do right now. What's that? Stretch! He walks out the door and Staying Alive starts playing.
I gotta watch it. I do. I need to go to Family Video and get it, or see if it's on demand. And
Staying Alive. You can watch it with me when I watch it for the snob, because I'll be watching it for that. if you go by Staying Alive, maybe he became a successful actor.
Might have. Karen Gorney, since we didn't see her in Staying Alive, she's probably gone on to something big in her job.
Or died of a coke overdose. There's some scenes in that movie where it seems like she has a little extra boost of energy.
Yeah, and the brother who got out of the priesthood.
If it has been a while since I've seen Staying Alive. If it referenced Stephanie in it, I don't remember.
I want to watch it. Now that we've seen this, I want to watch it. I'm going to check and see if it's on demand. You know?
Prepare yourself. It doesn't pack quite the punches.
Yeah, but when you know a punch that's not going to hurt's coming, then it's a little bit easier to take. You know?
Yeah.
When your expectations are low,
That
like
was
a bad date.
Honestly, that was me when I watched Two of a Kind. Because, okay, well, Two of a Kind was dumb, but, okay, I'd seen Two of a Kind, I don't know, I was maybe 13, 14 when I saw it. And I remember seeing it when I was younger, being like, well, that's dumb. That's not as good as Grease. But, hey, guy. He's just not the guy who came up to me during Godzilla and asked if I wanted to smoke pot and drink with him. And you are.
Random guy.
But, fuck was I saying? Oh, Two of a Kind. When I watched it for the site, a couple of months ago, I was watching it, and I was like, alright, this isn't very good, but Travolta and Olivia Newton-John still have, like...
chemistry.
Yeah, crazy fucking good chemistry in it. And like Oliver Reed played Satan in it. He was good. I was watching. I was like, but granted, like I was also, because the other Travolta movie that I did for the site was Moment by Moment. When you compare it to Moment by Moment, it's a fucking masterpiece. Because at least in Two of a Kind, they still have really good chemistry together.
She always said they worked so well together in Grease because she did kind of have a crush on him.
On Travolta?
Yeah.
He's dreamy.
He is. He's a cutie. Everybody just everybody feels things like when John lost his girlfriend, he lost his son.
Oh, God.
And, you know, different things have happened over the course of time. You just love him. Everybody loves John, you know.
I love John Travolta. I do. I'll always love John Travolta.
What's the next movie we're going to see?
They're doing Godfather and Godfather Part 2.
Together or separate?
Oh, separate. That'd be a long day in the theater.
It would be. I'd have to get one of those 5-hour energy
It's
things. Godfather,
well, next week is Dirty Dancing. I'm more of a Flashdance guy, personally. I mean, unless you really want to see... Oh, wait, I'm going to be gone. Shit, I'm going to be in Ohio during that. Sorry, Dirty Dancing fans. The next week
is Godfather,
and then the following week is Godfather Part 2. I'm up for that.
I'll do Godfather with you.
Yeah.
We saw that together.
Yeah, when they re-released Godfather nationally, like late 90s.
Yeah, because it would have been
25.
It was 99.
Right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
We saw it at the
Fox Theater.
Yeah, was it the Fox?
It was at the Fox, yeah. It was playing out at the Fox.
Are you sure it wasn't at the one?
Oh, positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see that one with you.
Yeah, I'd be interested in the Godfather again, and Godfather Part 2. I've never seen Godfather Part 2 in the theater.
Yeah, I don't think I did. I saw Godfather Part 3 with you, but I'd like to see Godfather 2 again because it was my least favorite.
2 is?
Yeah, so I would like to see that again.
3 is I don't have the hatred for 3 that a lot of people do, but it is my least favorite. And 2, I haven't seen 2 in the theater, so I wouldn't mind seeing all 4 hours of that in the theater.
So it'll be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For Godfather.
Yeah, and then 3 weeks for Godfather Part 2.
Cool.
Well, if you haven't seen Saturday Night Fever, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes. 1, 2. When you find out what's wrong with you, rent it.
Just buy it.
Buy it.
Go buy Saturday Night Fever.
Yep. Makes you want to learn to dance. I don't think there's much hope for me learning to dance.
I can't dance for shit.
Makes you at least want to try. Oh, one more thing I was going to say about that. What was that suit auctioned off for that he wore at the very end?
Gene Siskel bought it. Gene Siskel bought this. I can't remember how much he bought it for.
I want to look that up because it was a ton.
Yeah, Gene Siskel bought that suit because it was Gene Siskel's favorite movie. And For as many times as I disagreed with Gene Siskel in the past, I'm like, you know what? He gets an automatic pass because Saturday Night Fever is his favorite movie, or it was one of his favorite movies at least. He bought the suit and he wore it, which is hilarious to picture Gene Siskel dressed as Tony Manero, but and then he gave it to like a museum or something, I think, or something like that. I would have put that in a glass case and freaking displayed it, man. Yeah. Oh Lord, yeah.
It.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yay. We'll do it again in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.